All right, just one more minute before we get started. We have a couple more people joining, so just want to give everyone a little bit of time. All right, and with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are excited to give you a little sneak peek into what MCR is in hopes that you apply and get involved next year. So first up with our agenda, we obviously started with our welcome. We are going to head into our officer introductions. You'll learn a bit about what MCR is, and then we will head into our very exciting director presentations, as well as officer presentations. And so you'll learn about the officers as well as our directors, departments, and all of that. And then you'll actually get a chance to head into breakout rooms with various departments and directors that you're interested to speak with to learn more about what they do, ask any questions about the MCR process, things like that. Then we'll close with how to get involved and stay along if any of you have any questions. We have an exciting night ahead of us and we are very happy that you have joined us tonight. Next up, we have our quick officer introduction. So my name is Lena Teitelbaum. I am president of MCR, and then we have our other officers with us here tonight as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Oluni and I am the Vice President of the Countywide Student Government Association, at least for like the next week and a half, and then it won't be me anymore, but thanks for being here.
Hi everyone, I again, for about the next week, am the treasurer of MCR, just finishing my term this year. Excited to see so many new people here today. Thank you all for being here.
And then, hi everybody, my name is Shari Aurora, and for the next week, I am the MCR secretary. So thank you all for joining us, and we hope you apply when applications come out in the next few weeks.
So if you haven't gotten the gist, we are coming close to the end of our year and starting up our new MCR year, which actually does not start at the beginning of the school year. It starts at the end of the previous school year. So we're going to tell you a little bit about what is MCR. First up, just the basic answer, we are the countywide SGA. So we look to represent the ideas, the views of all of our high school students. So we work in a group, as you can see. If you're involved or know of your school SGA, they're on the tier below us. Above us is our Maryland Association of Student Councils, so that is representing the state. And then of course at the very top, we have our National Association of Student Councils. So we are all part of one big group that works together on a variety of different things. So we represent all 26 high schools. We have about 100 executive board members. And then we are, as I said, part of the Maryland Association of Student Councils, which is another great way to get involved. So we're throwing around a lot of acronyms and we want to make sure that you know what we're saying when we are saying these acronyms. So first up is our SEC, which is our Special Elections Committee. We have our directors here with us tonight. They run our amazing SMob and MCR officer elections, as well as our MCJC elections, which is our middle school counterpart. So they are very busy during this time of year. As I mentioned, MCJC is our middle school counterpart, so they are doing pretty much exactly what we do and working with us just on a middle school level. Next up, we have our SAC, which is our SMob Advisory Council, which is different from MCR and works specifically with our student member of the board, which is also SMob, to talk about policy, different things that they want to work on and work towards in the county. Then next up, you'll learn a bit about the GAs that MCR holds. These are our general assemblies where we meet with all school SGAs, a variety of students looking to get involved, and just a big group of students that want to advocate for their county about 4 times a year. And then last but not least, we have our BOE, which is our Board of Education, who we work closely with, and also where our SMob sits. So he is part of the BOE, and next year our lovely Hana will be part of the BOE as well. So next up, we have our MCR Advocacy. So like I talked about, we use the student voice to advocate on issues that affect us, the students around us, in our communities. So some things we do include testifying at that board hearing, that BOE that I was mentioning. We also meet with board members, attend town halls. One of the exciting things we do when we are in person is we head over to Annapolis and pick certain legislation to talk to legislators about, and we call that our Advocacy Day. So it's a great event. We have amazing directors and departments who set it up this year to do it virtually, but I would highly recommend if you get the chance to go in person as well. Last but not least, we write policy papers to talk about the student stances on legislative issues that are really important to us. So these opportunities are open and available to every single one of you, whether you are getting involved with us, whether you're an executive board member. So just know that if these interest you, this is totally the place for you to be. So next up, we have our SMob elections. Like I said, our current SMob is Nick Asante. He is here with us tonight. He does a lot with the Board of Education. He represents a lot of the students' values and beliefs on the board. And like I mentioned, we have all these various events that our SEC holds, and one of those is the SMob election. And that's where I hope you all voted these past couple of weeks. All of our MCPS middle and high school students vote to elect a SMob. So I just want to open the opportunity that we do have Nick here with us tonight. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to throw those in the chat or stick around later when we go to department breakouts for him to ask any questions. Next up, we have our supporting schools. So as I talked about, we represent all 26 high schools. And one of the key ways we do that is through our school communications department, who we also have here with us tonight. They host SGA summits and MCR school visits when we're in person to really keep connected to our schools and know a lot about what they're up to, what they want us to be advocating for, and so forth. They have an SGA summit coming up. It is open to all. We will share details at the end, but you can join this as your first step to getting involved in MCR, and it is a great place, especially if you're interested in learning about what we do in school communications. So we also have schools share at our general assemblies, which is another way that we get to touch base with our schools, really see what we're up to, what they're up to, and for them to hear what we're up to. And then of course, we have our MCR liaisons, which are part of the school communications department that they will share a bit more with you later, but those are really key pieces to staying involved with all of our schools. And then of course, we have our executive board meetings. Right there, you will meet with all of the executive board that has been appointed through MCR. Schools also have an MCR liaison who has full voting rights, as well as your school SGA president. But our executive board meetings are open to everyone. So it's a really, really great place to step into MCR without being a member, without the commitment yet, just to get a sense of what we're up to and kind of how we run. These happen at various dates, but they're always from 6 to 8 p.m. Sometimes when we are in person, they are always at Carver Educational Center in Rockville. But right now they are through Zoom, and we are hoping to keep that aspect kind of similar next year in order to allow everyone to join us virtually or in person. And then our general assemblies, which you heard me mention earlier, we have about 4 every school year. When you are in person, they are a whole lot of fun. They're free and open to everyone, and it's a really cool place to meet students from everywhere around the county. You could live at the very bottom of the county and meet a whole bunch of kids from the very top of the county. So it's a really cool place to see other students who are interested in similar things to you. We have great opportunities and some cool speakers, as you see mentioned on the slide here, lots of council members and lots of various people that are really important to MCR and what we do. So next up, our officer presentation. So what are the responsibility of each of the MCR officers? We have 4 officers that are elected, as you saw. These are not appointed. These are voted on positions similar to the SEC kind of elections that they run. This is one of them. And so they are voted on through school SGA delegates. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what the officers do. So as president, we have quite a lengthy list here. I will quickly go through a few of them. First up, chair all meetings, obviously of our GAs, our executive board meetings, and then of course the regional caucus at MASC functions. So not only do you represent right here in front of the students that go to your schools or your county, but also representing on a state level as well. Then next up, to the community at large, there's lots of events, lots of people that reach out as president. And so at that point, it's really important to represent the viewpoint of MCR and make sure that you're constantly advocating for things that our students want and that I know from experience our students are looking to see change. Then, as you all will hopefully be applying for, the officers go through and appoint people to fill positions that are specified in our bylaws. So we have rules that say someone is supposed to be appointed to do this, and we follow that in order to fill these various positions that you'll learn more about through the night. Also, just very generally, oversee and supervise all of our executive board members. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you want answers to things, it's very general to come to the officers, but specifically the president to get a quick answer or kind of get a stamp of approval, if you will. Then, of course, performing all other functions and being an ex officio member of all committees, both very general statements, but can look like a variety of things, including serving on various other commitments that, whether it's through the MCC-PTA, lots of other organizations that we work with to show up and advocate for the students. And then, of course, anything else that comes up in between. Next year, your president is going to be the amazing Shirey, who is with us tonight, is our secretary and will soon be president. Her email is down below, just so that if you guys have any questions, you should be reaching out to her for next year instead of me, since as you heard, we will be ending our term shortly.
Right. So hi, everyone. Like Lena mentioned, tonight I am here as your MCR secretary, but after May 6th, I will become your MCR president for next year. So if you have any questions at all right now or throughout the next year or when anything like that, please reach out. We want you all to get involved. So I hope that I'm a point of contact for any questions you have about how to get involved or questions with MCR. And I'm excited to hopefully work with you all next year.
All right, next I'll be giving a brief overview of the vice president of MCR. I think it's sort of the strangest role, or one of the strangest roles on the board, because there aren't a lot of stated responsibilities. It's mostly just, helping out the president and the other officers and your advisor when necessary, wherever necessary. Of course, one of the biggest responsibilities is being the president when the president isn't around for whatever reason, if they have another commitment, if they aren't able to make a certain meeting. It's sort of the vice president's responsibility to take on that role. Another really important, I think, unique role that the vice president has is maintaining the relationship between the high school countywide student government and the middle school's countywide student government, which, as Lena mentioned earlier, is called the Montgomery County Junior Councils, also known as MCJC. If you guys have siblings in 5th grade, 6th grade, or 7th grade who are interested in doing this kind of work next year at the middle school level, tell them to apply. It's a very similar organization, just with the younger age group. And so my role, throughout the past year, I've attended all of MCJC's executive board meetings, as well as general assemblies. MCJC sends over a liaison to us, and I help supervise them and walk them through what our organization looks like. I also just generally help out around the executive board, carrying out directives that the General Assembly gives, executive board gives, the president gives, help maintain communications, as well as, similar to what Lena had on her last slide, serve as an ex officio member of all committees. Sounds very fancy. Basically just means help out, give support where necessary. And I'm super excited to be passing off this role to Ashley Morales, who is also in this meeting right now. Ashley, I'll just pass it over to you for a sec to give a quick introduction.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Morales. I'm a junior at Gaithersburg High School, and I'm your MCR Vice President-elect. So I'll be in the position in a couple of days. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to start working with you all.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Arvin. This past year, I've had the great privilege to serve as the treasurer. As you might guess, the bulk of the work that I did this past year deals with the money in and around MCR. To just kind of go down the list here, firstly, supervising the collection of dues and maintaining records of membership status. MCR, in terms of its resources and composition, is completely supported by our schools, specifically our schools' SGAs. So all our member schools pay a due at the beginning of the year to kind of fund transportation, facilities, anything that we might need to put on these events for our SGAs, so we can meet together. So that looks like dues, and we're just making sure that all our schools have the opportunity to become member schools of MCR to get involved at that level. Secondly, maintaining complete and accurate financial records for MCR. Again, just kind of keeping track of all the money around MCR, kind of distributing that to our departments, to the many people who work in and around MCR to kind of get that money out there, making sure we have the resources to do what we need. And again, handling all monetary matters. I know it sounds kind of repetitive, but that really is the work that we do. And then finally, coordinating our grant program. So these past couple of years, this is something we've worked to institute. This past year, we were able to distribute around 10% of our budget to student organizations all across the county. So, this was just funding student leadership projects, different student service projects. And we're excited to kind of give back to our community with our resources that we have to see those kind of coming through. I'm excited about the work we did this past year, but I could not be more excited to see what the Office of the Treasurer does this next year. So I'll pass it off quickly to Mahi to kind of talk about that.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mahi Kunbar. I'm a sophomore at Northwest High School currently. And like Arvin said, I'll be serving as your next treasurer for MCR SGA. Arvin gave a pretty quick run through, but I'm really excited to work with you all and work to support you guys with the money that we have, lots of upcoming initiatives. And yeah, feel free to reach out. It's great to see everyone here tonight.
All right, and then finally, like I said, right now, I am serving as your MCR secretary. So basically, my main role this year, one of the big things has been taking minutes during all our executive board meetings and general assemblies, which is basically like a time-by-time rundown of what we did and what's happening and all of that. I've also, been handling all matters of correspondence for MCR, as well as all information dissemination, which basically means outreach and things like that. So, I oversee the MCR email to make sure that everyone who sends in an email is being responded to, as well as we've increased our outreach this year, to more than 100 people get our executive board Zoom links every year so that we're getting more students involved and sending out opportunities. So I've been kind of heading all of that as secretary, along with publicizing our scheduled MCR meetings and activities, as both outside the executive board, but also within, making sure that people show up to meetings and things like that, as well as working with PR and our webmasters to make sure that our website is up and running. And next year, I will hand it over to the amazing Queen Belina. If Queen, you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. As Shari said, I'm Queen Belina. I am a current junior and rising senior at Winston Churchill High School. I am honored and excited to be serving the students MCPS in the upcoming school year. So be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions at all about MCR or what we do. So yeah. I will be overseeing correspondence, so I promise I will get back to you and hopefully we can have an amazing year together.
So as you can see, our officers have quite a bit on their plates, and we are so excited to bring in our new officers shortly. Next up, we are going to go into our department introductions, which is super excited. You all are going to be able to hear from each of our departments and the directors about what they do. And so how it works in MCR is we have 2 directors of each department, except for Chief of Staff, which is a special exception, who has 3. And then in those departments, we have deputies who work below the directors. So directors give instructions, set deadlines, things like that. And so they're going to run through what they do, and you will have a chance to talk to all of them personally later. So please make sure that you think of any questions you may have for them and just keep them in your mind, jot them down, whatever you have to do so that you can share them later. So we are going to hand it over to our directors now. So first up, we have our amazing Chief of Staff department.
Hey everyone, my name is Michelle. I'm one of the 3 chiefs of staff, as Lena mentioned. So just to start off with a brief overview of what our department does. So as directors, we oversee all the other departments in MCR. So for me personally, I'm the chief of staff for the policy departments. So what that means is I oversee the legislative affairs, educational policy, as well as the special issues departments. So something that we do in order to do that is we hold monthly department check-ins as well as mental health check-ins just to make sure the entire board is running really efficiently and that everybody's doing well. So I don't know if Gabby, if you're here, if you want to talk about your departments.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry you can't see my face. I have a baby sleeping right next to me. So, but anyways, my name is Maret. I'm a senior at Montgomery Blair, and I'm one of the chiefs of staff, more specifically for social. So I work with the PR, public relations, so the school communications and public relations departments, and basically, health. Yes, I am a community relations, and we figure out how to better inform the public of what we do. I'm sorry, I tripped up on my words. And I have met with several MCPS organizations and how we can better how to better fix the relationship between MCR and the rest of the county. And yeah, I guess that wasn't really helpful at all.
And I'll just add on. So I guess for the rest of the points, my name is Gabby Diaz. I'm also one of the chiefs of staff. And like Lena said, our department's very unique. We don't really have deputies, we have coordinators. So we have like finance, social service, and parliamentarians. So in terms of finance, we kind of just like oversee them working on the grant program, merch, and different fundraisers. For social, also overseeing them plan bonding events. We've had movie nights, implemented this big little system. In terms of service, we also oversee their service projects. One of their projects was a countywide service week. And for the parliamentarians, we oversee, or we kind of just make sure that they're overseeing parliamentary procedure at different meetings. They really help with writing resolutions, making sure everything is going smoothly during meetings. And aside from the chief of staff department, which I kind of like mainly oversee, I also oversee SEC, the Special Elections Committee, also just making sure that things are running smoothly. I know I said smoothly a lot, but we're kind of just here to, make sure everything is going according to plan, that people are feeling comfortable within MCR, and if they have any problems, we're just here kind of like not a second option from the officers, but more like a bridge between the officers and the executive board.
Next, we're going to hand it over to community relations.
Hi everyone, I'm Sonia. I'm a sophomore at Walt Whitman. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm one of your community relations. And then Simone will also talk. And we're basically responsible for connecting MCR with other community organizations and businesses. And kind of the ideology of our department is a two-way street. So MCR and members of MCR are helping the community, helping those organizations get the word out, all those things. And then, but the community also gives back to us by giving platform for us to advocate on, but also publicizing our events and opportunities to a much broader public. And we work with teachers, parents, and students all across the county, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so as Sonia said, hi, my name is Simone, and I'm a junior at Montgomery Blair High School. And like Sonia said, as community relations, we just kind of do what our what our name says. We try to improve relations with with the organizations in our community. And so on the screen, you can see some of our goals this year. So our top one was to kind of create opportunities for MCR to collaborate with outside organizations, whether it be MASC, which Lena talked about earlier, as was our state counterpart parent organization, or organizations within our county like MSP, et cetera, et cetera. And again, we just wanted to establish those strong relationships that MCR has facilitated in the past, but just kind of continuing to keep those relationships strong with the new new officers this year, and then working together with our departments. And I think this was a really big one this year that helped us a lot. So if you're interested in CR, be ready to come and work with all of the departments on the board. We had a fantastic time working with PR, school communications, everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, and also our kind of main goal is to give deputies as much freedom and autonomy as we can. We don't follow up with them daily or anything. They have like a very set list of responsibilities, but we really appreciate when they go out of the box. And you can ask us more questions on it, or in the breakout room, but basically dependent on the organization you're liaisoning for, your connection with them will be different. But the main thing is to keep good contact with them and make sure, you know, they know about MCR and MCR knows about them.
Yeah, so real quick, oh, one last thing, Lena. Real quick, we have so we have all of our liaisons to our organizations, and then we have one outreach coordinator, shout out to Tenon, who kind of keeps up to date, informing the individuals who had applied to MCR, but unfortunately weren't accepted, just kind of keeping them in the loop throughout the year with MCR opportunities. And then real quick, director responsibilities, just kind of as usual, making sure everyone has what they need, making sure we're solving any problems and making sure that everyone's up to date. So yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you, guys. I do just want to remind all of our directors that we want to make sure we give all of our students here with us tonight ample time to talk to you in breakout rooms. So please make sure to keep your reports as short as possible. Next up, we will hand it over to educational policy. Do we have either of our Ed Pol directors here tonight? All right, it does not look like it. So just a bit about Ed Pol, some of the key things they do. They write policy papers for us. This year they held our amazing SRO forum. They've done a ton of other stuff. As you can see, one of their main things that they focus on is revising the Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook, but they do a ton more that just revolves predominantly on policy. So if that is an interest of yours, I would highly recommend looking into that. Next up, we have Ledge Affairs. I will hand it over to our amazing directors.
Hi, I'm Maeve. I'm one of the Ledge Affairs directors along with Helena. So Ledge Affairs is sort of the department that deals with all of the policy interaction. So we host Advocacy Day, which is MCR's annual, in normal times, it's a trip to Annapolis, which is where the state capitol is, and we lobby different lawmakers. This year, we also held the mentorship event, which was sort of an event where we paired students with local lawmakers and they got to talk to them about leadership and politics and whatever else was going around in their community. And we're going to be hosting a Leadership Beyond MCR event where we talk to MCR alum about how they've been involved in sort of broader government and business, whatever, after MCR, and sort of making those leadership connections. So we're really just focused on researching legislation and being advocates for different policies that we as the MCR, as a representative MCS students, wants to support and want to encourage lawmakers. And I'll pass it off to Helena.
Yeah, just like Maeve said, we basically monitor and track legislation in the Maryland General Assembly and the Montgomery County Council or Board of Education, if it's important to education and important to students. And Our role basically is making sure that MCR stance is heard by our legislators, and we have the opportunity to make sure that we include the student voice in important policy discussions.
Thank you both. Next up, we will hand it over to PR.
Hi guys, I'm Pauline. I'm the press director. So PR is in charge of the social media, publishing, and advertising of MCR. As a director, we assign assignments to the deputies and work together with the co-director on projects. So press works with media to create graphics, write articles, and publish them on our social media platforms. As a press deputy, you would write articles and newsletter sections that involves a variety of topics, such as the events that we go to, organizations, spotlights, and a lot more. And I can just pass it on to Abby.
Hi everyone, I'm Abby. I'm the media PR director. The media side's a little more mishmashy. So we have the videographers and photographers who do a lot of the documenting, and our videographers this year really stepped it up. So if you're interested in video editing next year, we would really love to have you guys. Our web designers just redid the website this year, and if you would be a web designer, I don't know you'd have a ton of stuff, but you would get the opportunity to work on refining that. And then our media deputies are the 5 this year, our 5 graphic designers who, whenever we get assignments about publishing something, they work on making the graphics that we put out on our socials.
Thank you, PR. Next up, we'll hand it over to school communications.
Hi, I'm Sean Davis. I'm a senior at Rockville High School, and my pronouns are he, him.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Morales. I'm a junior at Gaithersburg High School and I use she, her pronouns. And welcome to school communications.
All right, so a few of our goals. Our first one is to outreach to all 25 high schools about anything related to MCR.
We also host bi-monthly school summits, which Lena kind of touched on earlier. I'll drop the link in the chat if you want to go ahead and register for our next one.
And then the third one is to develop relationships with MCR and all of MCR's member schools. And those are two-way streets. We want to be able to communicate information to schools and get them to communicate information back to us. And then I'm going to dive into some of the roles of the directors. So the first one is to organize school summits. So again, we have one of those on May 5th. It'd be great if you guys came out. And then we write email templates for all the deputies to send out to the schools. We coordinate with other departments and officers. So if a department needs to send information out about an event, they'll come to us and we can send out an email for them. We oversee and support the deputies if they have any questions or concerns they need help with. And then we work with the MCR school liaisons, which are one from each school. And then we record deputy attendance, and then again, we plan SJ summits.
And then a little bit as the role of our deputy would be to communicate with leaders and students at MCR member schools, being the 25 high schools that we have in Montgomery County. And then we have email SGA officers and advisors, run Instagram SGA group chats, which is something that we implemented this year, and also individual outreach to students in different clubs and organizations around the county.
Thank you so much, school communications. Next up, we have special elections.
Hi everyone, my name is Divya Vakalanka. I'm currently a junior at Northwest High School and I'm one of the special elections administrators. Unfortunately, my co-director couldn't be here today, so I'll just be going over what we do. So we run what's called the Special Elections Committee. So first of all, the Special Elections Department is within MCR, but the Special Elections Committee is actually a committee that works outside of MCR with a totally different group of students to plan the SMob election. So as said before, the SMob is the student member of the board, and we are tasked with the duty of organizing the election. So that means we edit the protocols that basically determine all of the election rules, and we oversee any grievances against candidates that are filed, and we basically just advertise the SMob election and make sure that people know what's going on. So first of all, my role as an SEC administrator is to run the Special Elections Committee and the department. We also work with any staff to plan events like nominating convention, or planning events like the SMob 101, where we were able to advertise the role of the SMob,
and finally the general election, which actually took place last week. So next, the SEC deputies oversee subcommittees within the SEC. So they are deputies for us, but since we also have the SEC, they actually direct their own departments within the SEC. So that would be like public relations, grievances, protocol, school outreach, events, and secretary, and those tend to change every year.
All right, thank you so much, Divya. And last but not least, we have our special issues department.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kendall Daniels. I'm one of the 2 directors, and I go to Damascus High School. I'm a junior.
And my name is Jessie Waikochea. I'm also a junior, and I go to Watkins High School.
So a quick rundown about our department is mine and Jesse's job is to oversee all coordinators in the 4 task forces. Quick thing about the task force, it's something we implemented this year to expand outreach to people who otherwise wouldn't really know about MCR. And I'll let Jesse talk more about that in a little bit. But we also facilitate communication with other departments and the officer team. We promote our task forces, which we mainly do through our Instagram account, which is the MCR Special Issues Instagram account, if you guys want to check it out. And I will let Jessie talk more about what our coordinators do.
Yeah, so unlike other departments, we have coordinators. So essentially they have a job of running the task forces based on their advocacy issue, hosting monthly meetings, hosting workshops, forums, and other events, whatever they feel is necessary, and maintain a relationship with local advocacy groups related to their issue. And the issues that our departments focused on this year was cultural awareness, environmental affairs, equitable education, and mental health. So this department is unique as when you apply, you'll get to decide, I believe, what issues you believe should be in the forefront of MCR. So these 4 issues won't necessarily be here next year. It's fluid and it's whatever you guys decide.
Awesome, thank you so much. So now is the exciting time for you all to really interact with all of our directors and learn more about all of our departments. So what we are going to do shortly is we are going to open breakout rooms. So you will go to the bottom right of your screen and click the breakout rooms so that you can go and talk to any of the directors you want. This will be open for about 30 minutes. So you can go in and out. You do not have to stay in one place, or you can if you're interested and want to hang out in that one location. The other thing you can do is if you have general questions about MCR, all of the current as well as officer elects, as well as our SMob, will be staying in the main room. So if you want to stay here and ask us any questions before heading over to another department or whatever it is, you can go ahead and stay back or come back into the main room later to talk with us. So next up, these are going to be the numbers for each of your breakouts for you to head to. So once again, these are all of the ones that you saw earlier, and you should have just seen a notification pop up in the bottom right where you can join your breakout rooms. So I'm going to ask all our directors head over, and then once they're all in there, you guys can go ahead and join your breakout rooms. So once again, feel free to stay back if you have questions for us, and if not, go ahead and head into those breakouts. Sherry, could you stop sharing, please? Thank you. So for anyone that has questions for us that is planning to stay back, please feel free to put something in the chat or unmute yourself. I see, I'm not sure which to join. So go ahead, you have plenty of time. You can go through from bottom to top, go through each one and just stick with whatever you might like.
Lena, can you actually continue sharing your screen? If people are on Chromebooks, they won't be able to choose the breakout room, so we can sort them into where they want to go. If you keep the names up there. Perfect. So for people who don't have the breakout room option, just type where you want to go in the chat out of these 8 options, and we'll put you there.
So go ahead, if you want to go to multiple, just start with the first one you want to go to, and then you can leave and come back here and we will send you to the next one.
And remember to stay in the main room if you want to speak to us officers.
So Arvin, can you please send? Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm still seeing about 20 of our friends here. I know we have quite a few officers. Do we have anyone with questions for Nick, for the officers about MCR, anything? All right, we're getting down there. We're losing more and more. We have about 7 friends left. Does anyone want to head to a breakout room or ask any questions?
For the people we're manually sorting, if you want to go to a different one, just come back and then ask again.
Does anyone need help going somewhere? Do you guys have questions about MCR for us?
Raphael, where'd you come from? What room?
Oh, I came from special elections, I believe. Yeah.
Special elections, did you like it?
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was Do you want to go to another one now? Do you want to try out a different place?
Yeah, I'm looking to see what seems appealing.
Perfect.
And if you have any general questions, you can always stick back here and ask us. Miss Cherry, do we want to pause recording until we wrap up, or do we want to keep it going?
Chance to ask your questions. Now that we're going to talk to you a little bit about how to get involved. I am now going to hand it over to your president-elect, Shari, to talk to you a bit about how to stay involved if you are involved this year or how to get involved next year.
Awesome. Thank you, Lena. So hopefully you guys enjoyed hearing from our departments, and hopefully that made you guys want to join us and join these amazing departments for next year. So our executive board applications will be coming out hopefully next week. So look out for that. You know, follow us on Instagram, email mcr.sj@gmail.com to be added to our mailing list so you get all that information. But those will be open for about 2 to 3 weeks, most likely. So make sure that you're on top of that and you apply. We'll also be putting out, you know, a criteria so you know exactly what we're looking for, as well as videos walking through the application, how to do well in an interview, things like that. So you have all the resources you need. I want to make it very clear. Having past experience in student advocacy is not a prerequisite for MCR at all. You do not, this could be your first time hearing of us, your first time in student government or advocacy, and that's totally good. If you play on a sports team, babysit, you know, have a job, anything like that, we weigh that experience just as much as if you've been involved before. So I urge you all to apply. No matter what you're interested in, we have a spot for you, and we have a department for you. So look out for those. If you have any questions at all, please reach out. I will be sending a follow-up email with all these slides, the recording, things like that. So you can always email mcr.sga if you have any other questions. But I hope that you all apply because we're representing all voices in MCPS, and we want to give you all a spot to advocate for the things you believe in. So I hope you all apply and look out for that. Along with that, we have our last executive board meeting on Thursday, May 6th at 6 p.m. So if one of the other officers could drop the RSVP link in the chat, but we'll also be sending this out. If you want to come kind of see what an exec board meeting is like, we'll be doing some fun celebration and wrapping up things for the year. Please come out to that. They are open to everybody. Again, email mcr.sj@gmail.com if you have any questions at all, as well as follow us on Instagram for all those updates about executive board applications. But I can't stress this enough. I hope you all apply for our exec board when those come out next week. So look out for that. Send in a great application, and I can't wait to hopefully work with you all next year.
All right, and with that, thank you so much, Shari. We appreciate you all coming so much. Like Shari said, you can reach out to us via social media, on our email, and check us out on our website. And we really hope that you apply and that this was helpful. The officers-elect, and Nick will all be here to stick around a little bit to answer any questions that came up over those last couple minutes. So please feel free to stick around or put a question in the chat. And if not, we hope to see you stay involved. Thank you to all of our directors. I'm still seeing some of you here. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Mridula, I saw your question in the chat. So departments such as legislative affairs are our executive board. So all the departments you heard from tonight, they make up our executive board. So in the application, you'll have a place to click like your first choice position, which could be legislative affairs deputy or chief of staff, or finance coordinator or whatever. So all of those departments make up our executive board. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Shari.
Yeah, of course. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I look like a bot. I was just filming something before this. It's weird. But my question is if you could only tell somebody 3 or 4 sentences and get them to join MCR, what would you tell them?
Oh, I'm ready for this one. Shari, you can go after me if you have it. I would say MCR has taught me the most out of any academic experience I have had in my 4 years. I've been involved for 3 years now, and I've made friends that I believe I will keep through a lot of my life. And it also truly gets you to advocate for more things than you would have ever imagined are relevant and happening in your own county. So that's mine. Shari, if you want to do yours, you can go ahead, but those are my top 3.
Yeah, I second everything Lena said. I think, first off, working with amazing student leaders, a lot of my closest friends I've met through MCR, and I never would have because they live in way different parts of the county and things like that. But along with that, just learning so much about how our county works, how our educational system works, and really being given the opportunities to testify, to, really have a say in the decisions that are being made about us. So yeah.
Did you just come up with that? That was pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
Okay, also public speaking skills is another huge one. You really learn how to.
Yeah, Justin, you learned all that in MCR.
Oh, fair.
I promise you, we don't practice our 3-sentence spiel normally, so you got it right naturally.
Oh, I'll believe that. All right, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Good thing.
Bye, Justin.
Sonia, did you have anything you just saying hi?
I was just gonna say bye. I didn't catch if the directors had to stay behind, so I was checking that. But have a great day. This was an amazing event. Thanks.
No worries. Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Do we want to?
All right. Well, that's that. Ms. Chair, do you want to go ahead and end the recording?